Hello, hello, hello. Viewers can browse and chat. I don't know what the heck that means. Hello, my friends. Let's see. I don't know. Let me share this with. Okay, it's not letting me share with. I don't know. You guys, Oh, here we go. Yeah, I updated the app or whatever, and it's like not letting me share it with as many people as I wish that I would like to share with anymore. But that's okay. It's now okay. I'm able to share it now a little bit. I'm finally able to share. So I can share. So that's good. Hello, everybody. How are you guys? How is everybody? Just wanted to start a couple minutes early today. How are you guys? If you would like to give me some love, share for me and Justin. Hello, Jenny Jen. Hello, Serena. Hi, Shannon. How is everybody doing? Yes, the more likes, the more we can get people in here to hear Justin's story. So please share. Hi, Christina. Hi, everyone. Hi, Crystal. Michelle, how is everybody doing? I'm super excited for this this light. Here comes Justin as we speak. Oh no, that's Chase. Oh, hey Chase. Did I
Hi. Did you mean? I was going to
Sorry,
say,
girl.
did you mean to send that, or did you think it was is Justin coming on?
Sorry, girl. What'd you say?
Did you mean to send that?
I did not, girl. Do you mind jumping down for now
No,
until
not
Justin?
at
I'm
all.
sorry.
Not at all. I just didn't want to be rude and decline it. All right.
Sorry about that, girl.
You're good.
We'll talk to you later. Thanks, girl.
Yep.
Hey, Lindsay. Hey, Karen. Invite. There we go. I did invite. Okay, let's see. I invited.
Hey. Oh, hold on. Let me turn my volume up.
It might.
Hey. Oh, hold on. Let me turn my volume up.
It might not have happened.
Okay, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can see you. Can anybody else hear, or is it just me, guys?
Can you guys hear me?
Do we need a... I don't know.
Can everybody
me?
hear me? Justin? Can you? I can hear
Y'all
you.
can hear. Okay, they say that they can hear. Hold on. Let me...
Yeah, they're saying they can hear both of us.
Try now.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Let me sign off, and I'll come back on, and maybe that'll fix it. Okay.
Sounds good. Reading lips to Golden Globes. That's funny. Yeah, I could hear him. So okay, I'm glad you guys can at least hear me. So that's good. Well, let's start out with today's my daughter's 17th birthday, you guys. So let me give a shout out to Lily. I don't think she's watching, but hey, you never know. Maybe she is. There is no trucker update. I will say that I did talk to Sarah, and she has not. Oh, thank you for the love. That is so cute. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you. I will tell her you guys said happy birthday. 17, you guys. It's crazy. Hello, R2D2. Today's your son's 8th birthday. Oh, well, tell him happy birthday, Jenny. Okay.
For you.
Can you hear us? Can you hear?
My wife is in that. She's like, I can hear. I'm like, all right, well, it's just my phone.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that you can hear. Hi, Liz. I was just telling everyone today is my daughter's 17th birthday. It's Jenny's son's 8th birthday. There's like lots going on today. It's a big day. And the Bills, I have to wear my gear. They're playing Sunday. So we got lots going on. Lots of good things are going on. Thank you, Carolina. Happy birthday to Jenny's son as well. And
yes, happy birthday to everybody who's got a birthday.
You rooted for the Bills. Thank you, DJ Broom. And oh my God, M's daughter is 4 today. Today's like a birthday. Today, January 10th must be like the big birthday day.
What was 9 months ago?
I know. I'm trying. It was April. It definitely was April. I know that for sure.
Spring.
April. It wasn't Mother's Day or anything, so I don't know. But well, who knows? So
spring, Ford. Who knows?
Who knows? After winter.
Alyssa's a January birthday too.
Really? What's her birthday? January what?
24th.
24th. My son's Logan's is in 2 days, so they're 3 years and 2 days apart, which is crazy. So Jenny said that April. Yeah, either Jenny was not memorable for me either. Okay, so Justin, thank you so much for joining. I'm really excited for this interview. I've been like teasing it all week, but I'm super excited. So what I typically like to do is just do like a really quick interview or my God, introduction, and then I'll ask you some questions. I always encourage any of the people who are watching, the viewers who are watching, please put your questions in at the bottom. Ask as you like along. I'll make sure to go through as many as I can throughout. I like to keep these to like an hour. Very casual, conversational piece. That's what I like to do. And then we'll just go from there. So does that sound good? Sound good? Yes, 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 yes. You're a huge
Sounds
Bills
perfect.
fan as well, Sugar and Spice. Thank you, go Bills. This Sunday. All right. So you guys, I'll just tell you a little bit of history. My name, for those who aren't following, my name is Cindy, 716 Girl at ATL. I am a huge Bills fan, as you can see. I typically talk crime, but I used to be a reporter for CBS, so I love doing interviews. Justin on TikTok here is one of the first creators that I started following because of crime, but then I started watching his channel and I was like, oh my God, there's so much depth to this guy. And realized that he talks way more than just crime. And one of the things that one of the very first videos that I found was about the relationship or not relationship that you have with your mom. And, you have talked very openly about that, very freely about that. And go Bills, Britt, you're right. And since then, you have written a book, which is what we're going to talk about today. But let's start out from yes, let's keep tapping that screen, you guys, and sending some love so we can get a lot of people in here.
Hey, get to the FYP, guys.
Yes. Let's
Thank
keep
you.
giving it some love. So let's start out at the beginning. Talk to me about the relationship with your mom, and because you really said that's what propelled you, because you weren't even.
Well, you said we only have an hour, though.
That's true. We only have so maybe condensed version.
So and I don't even know where to start with this. I guess I can start with what the final catalyst was. So my mom, not diagnosed as a narcissist, but I would say she exhibits all the signs of being a narcissist. We can use the term toxic if we want. But basically what would happen in my life is basically I would get in trouble, my mom would get mad at me or whatever, and the punishment, if you will, was that she would stop speaking to me or she'd be mad at me, silent treatment kind of thing, which she does to a lot of people. She did it to my niece when she was like a few years old, like 3 or 4, something like that. Anyways, I digress on that part. And typically my response to her would be like, no, Mom, I love you. I'm sorry. And I would just grovel and try to get back into good graces. And that's kind of what I did. And when we told her we were expecting Victoria, to give you a little bit of background on that, we were coming off of like the worst year ever. Basically, Alyssa had lost her grandmother, her favorite cousin, who was like a brother to her. He was 40 years old, died of colon cancer. And let's see, our dog had passed away, like our very beloved dog. And these are just like some of the big things. There were a lot of little things that kind of happened on top of that, plus a pregnancy loss. We were coming off of a pregnancy loss. So really, really tough year. And so when we got pregnant with Victoria, she got pregnant, I helped. But she, we told her, I want to tell her, and I thought of a cute way to do it. And a lot of people hear the video and they're like, well, why did you talk about the rocking horse that way? And the thing is, you have to kind of know the story about the rocking horse and the elongated Cliff Note version of the rocking horse is this was something that I had when I was a kid. It's one of the few things that were left from when I was a kid. And the thing was, I was supposed to get it back whenever I was ready to have a child. And she had lent the rocking horse out to family members over the year. That was kind of part of the deal why we specifically had that conversation. So it went to, cousins and, aunts and uncles and all that kind of stuff throughout the years, and was used and eventually returned itself, while I was in college back to my mom. And so the way I decided to tell her, because I knew the rocking horse was in her basement, I knew that my niece and nephew had been kind of playing with it. My niece had been pulling like some of the yarn out of the mane and the tail and stuff. She talked about how she needed to redo it the last couple of times I had been to her house. And so that's why I brought it up and used it as an example. So I asked her, I said, hey, have you started like working on that rocking horse? Plus she knew we were trying to have a kid because, the loss. And so I called her up and I said, hey, have you started working on that rocking horse yet? And she was like, no, I'm busy. I got all this stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'm going to need it by September. And this was, I forget what month it was. It might've been February. It was February because that's when I stopped talking to her. So it was in February. And she was like, well, I'll get to it closer to September or whatever, like accomplish whatever they had. And so then I stopped him and I said, no, mom. I said, I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I said, we're going to need it by September. And I kind of said it in that tone, like hint, hint. And she knew exactly what I was saying. So she stopped. She got quiet for a second. She goes, I know exactly what you're saying, Justin. She's like, what do you want me to say to this? And I
Oh,
was like, you know what? I was like, I'll just talk to you later.
and that was it.
And yeah, there was a text message. So then I didn't know that that was going to be it. But then I get a text message like a couple days later where she had taken the horse over to my brother's house and dropped it off. And my now ex sister in law was talking about the fact that, like, why did your mom bring this over here? Blah blah. Because even though my sister in law and my brother were like the people who live in the most clutter I have ever seen, apparently my thing was not allowed to be there. And I'm like, I have no idea. I was like, but I'll get it as soon as I can because I wanted it. And so then I tried to text her and like I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? So I was like, let me text her. And so I asked her to call me back, and she sent me this whole long text how she doesn't think she's like, I don't think so. Then she told me, I was going to make a great dad, but I was like a shitty person, and just like all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I still have the text somewhere.
What was her
And so
reason? Why did she think you were a shitty person? Like just out of the
I
blue,
don't
she
remember
thinks you're a
what the
shitty
reasoning
person?
was because I don't remember what the reasoning was for her, but it's just she was just kind of flying off the handle is kind of what she was doing. And so normally in these situations, like I said before, I would come back and say, "No, mom, I'm sorry. Let's work this out." But then I was like, "We just had the worst year ever, like ever." I was like, "We're expecting a kid," and I'm like, "I'm just not doing this." And so after like a lot of consideration, and then I talked to at the time we had a friend, so we had a condo in South Carolina that we would frequent. And this right after that, we had gone down to it, and I was talking to our neighbor down there, who is a retired judge and worked in family courts like that. And we were telling her the situation. I was like, I think I'm just done. And she was like, and she told me what to send back, which was message sent, message received, or whatever. And that was it. And that was the last time I heard from her. So I did try to reach out to her because in my previous job, I sold oxygen concentrators and had a portable one, and she had asked to borrow one because she was faking an illness. I didn't know she was faking at the time, but she was. And so I said, sure. And then it was time for me to do like reconciliation on my inventory. I was like, oh, I just asked her, I said, hey, I need this back. Could you please just drop it off at Jason's house? My brother. And she never did. And so I talked to the company ended up, basically she stole it. And so I talked to the company, I explained what was going on, and I was like, you know what you should do? Because I was still in the very angry phase. I said, it's like a $2,000 device. Let's sue her. It's a felony. She stole a $2,000 device. And the person who worked inventory, her and I were friends, she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. She's like, let's just write it off and we'll call it a day. I'm like, all right, cool. But anyways, that was the last time I talked to her. So then fast forwarding a little bit, Victoria was born. She came at 29 weeks.
Oh my
So
gosh.
29 weeks and 3 days. It was very scary. Alyssa had been on bed rest and in antepartum for, I forget how long. She wants to yell out and tell me, I'll tell y'all, but she had been out in antepartum, and it was very unexpected. She came on July 5th, and there's no way my mom didn't eventually know about it. We spent 43 days in the NICU. There's no way, again, with the family and stuff, that she wasn't informed. But never heard from her, not once. Alyssa almost died. The baby, Victoria almost died, and we never once heard from her. So when people ask me, like, what can she do to get back in your good graces? The answer now is nothing, because my daughter is the most important person to me. And I think that that's part of it, because she knew that once I had a child, that she could no longer be the center of attention, that child would be the center of attention.
And you think that's what she was longing for? She was looking to be the center of attention. Obviously, if she faked some sort of an illness, right?
That's what all narcissists do, is they want to be the center of attention. Nobody else can be there. So, like, that's it. So, yeah, at our wedding, she faked a seizure. She wore black, and she snubbed the bride. All that's a different story. I mean, these stories go on. I have stories for days.
And is she like this with your brother, or do you have any other siblings that she's like this with?
I have a half sister from my dad's first marriage. So my half sister's like 12 years older than me. And I was actually not allowed to have a relationship with her because my mom used to be her stepmom and treated her like, those stories are heartbreaking, what she did to that when she was a child, to my sister Jamie. My brother's very interesting. So my brother does have a relationship, but my brother doesn't care if he has a relationship. And so that's how he makes him he's kind of the golden child. Like, he can do no wrong. Like, my brother just does not care. In his defense, mechanism is basically he just kind of checks out. And
Yeah.
he gray rocks everybody, and it's not because he's intentionally doing it. It's just his, he from a very young age was put in a really bad situation, a lot of bad situations, and that's just how he deals with it. So somebody asked earlier, does she have other grandchildren? Yes, she has. My brother has a boy and a girl. I think my nephew's 11 now, and the girl's 9. He's 9. And I mean, she abuses them, but they allow it. That's kind of what it is. I hate to say it that way, but she pits them against each other. She talks crap about their mom, which, I mean, we talk crap about her mom too, because my ex-sister-in-law is a massive pain in the ass, but we don't do it in front of the kids.
Well, yeah, and how does he allow this? Like, your brother is okay with them pitting? I mean, that to me sounds almost just as bad. Like,
he's in denial, I think, about it, and free babysitter.
Okay, I guess, but
He
that's
lives in Atlanta. He lives in Marietta. So,
oh, really?
Most of our family's in the Atlanta area.
Still, okay, that's interesting. So, I mean, I guess, one of the things that I found that was interesting when I found out about your situation and whatnot and started really delving into it was that this is way more common than people realize. 26%, you said.
26%.
Which is, I mean, I told you, like, this, my brother, haven't talked to my brother in 4 years. First of all, I'd like to ask, is there a way I think I can do a poll in here just out of curiosity. Yes, I am going to do a poll like I did the last time, to see if there is I want to know how many people in here do you have a family member that you do not speak with?
No
So
contact,
I want to
limited
start.
contact.
I
Yeah.
want to start, yes, of this poll. I just put it up in the left corner. You guys will see that just out of curiosity. Last time we did this poll with Justin and myself, it was just a quick one. It was 91% of the people on here said they have no contact with at least one family member, which is really, really interesting. So, Justin, I know you wrote this book, which I want to get to in a minute, but being someone who has
Just
experienced.
one. Sorry, actually, one of them goes just one.
What'd you say?
What Ashley in here goes, like, yes, if you're not no contact with a family member, she goes just one.
Oh, or more than one, right? Because some people have more than one, definitely.
Yeah.
What,
That's fine.
as someone who has had that, you obviously have the experience with that. And this is something I know, at least for me, it took me a little bit of time. Now, my mom also does not talk to my brother at all, which has been way more difficult for her. What is the advice that what can you tell people who are struggling with this?
Struggling and the poll never showed up, so I'm gonna
Oh, it
help you
didn't
this.
show up? It's not in the upper
I
left
can-
for you guys?
I got it. Hold on.
Right now,
There we go.
it's
There we go.
80,
So limit
87.
talking family. There we go. I know I didn't see it. Maybe I have to do it on my side too. There we go. I did it on my side too.
Okay.
So it should be up here. It should be showing up there, maybe, or down there. Who knows? It's somewhere.
It-
Oh, showed on her live only. Okay, so I put it on mine. So I guess we are on 2 separate lives. So I have 180 people on 90 people on mine, and I guess
Oh, yeah, you do. We're on 2 separate lives because I have 90 people in mine. So that's
weird.
why.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
sorry.
that's interesting. That's okay.
So I did on mine too. So now we're both doing it.
Yes.
But,
Okay.
it depends on the advice that you're talking about. I mean, it's not a one size fits all, thing. It depends. Everybody's situation's different. Everybody's, situation's very unique. The people are unique, what they've experienced. But here's the thing: everybody's experience is valid, but not everybody's at the point where they're ready to do no contact either. But I guess the one thing that I could say, if I had to do a generic, like, let me give you some advice, is set boundaries, know your self-worth, set boundaries that are healthy for you and your family. And if you set these boundaries and people get angry with you about these boundaries, the problem is with them, not your boundaries.
The problem is, I just put the poll up again, you guys. It's in the upper left-hand corner for those of you on my side. So we'll combine the two percentages. It should be up in the upper left-hand corner, you guys. It should look like a little notebook. Yes, thanks, Margie. It's in the upper left-hand corner. So I just
Mine is 87.18 or yes, and 12.82 or no. So basically 87 and 13.
That's what mine was. That's what mine was too. Exactly right around that.
So,
Is there anything do you tell people, like, is there anything that you can do as a person, like, that you would tell me or my mom to do, like, as a person to try to bring that relationship back?
if the person is a true narcissist, there's nothing you're going to be able to do.
Nothing.
If they are a true narcissist. Now, you can be toxic and not a narcissist.
Right.
So, and the issue with narcissists is very few of them are diagnosed because none of them think anything is wrong with them. But you know, I think that's the thing is you have to set back. You're. I assume everybody here is an adult. You're an adult. You get to make your decisions. They don't, and so they might not like your decisions. They don't have to like your decisions. It's your life, your decisions. So if you set a boundary again, and they have an issue with it, then that tells you a lot. And if you tell them that you're having an issue and they fight you and have no intention of changing, that tells you a lot. But if you have a discussion with them and they aren't a narcissist and they're just toxic and don't necessarily, possibly they'll be open at least to have a discussion and you can move the needle one way or the other to make it better. If you're somebody that you're like, I just could never do no contact, you just have a guilt trip about it. One, you should not feel guilty. Me telling you that's not going to change that, but you shouldn't. But two, then you can do limited contact and just gray rock them, which gray rock means just don't fall into the drama. Just, yes, no answers, basic answers where they can't turn it against you.
So my poll was done. 79% said yes. 21 said no. The only thing, Justin, with yours being on your side, I can't see any of the comments and I can't see any of the questions. So, and I typically like to, so I don't know if any of your people want to come over to my side, then I can have them. It's up to you.
They can. I'm sorry, maybe I did it wrong. I just came on live to,
That's okay.
wait.
If any of you guys are watching on Justin's, you want to come over to mine, 716 Girl in ATL. Otherwise, Justin, you can ask the questions yourself, however you want to do it. But I just want to read a couple of the comments, Justin, on my side, especially since you can't see from the people who are commenting on relationships with their parents. Crystal said she had a miscarriage in 2017. Her narcissistic mother-in-law never even called them, and she spent 4 days in the hospital, which is horrible. And then we have... So she said, and then Coco said that Crystal came back and said that she never talks about it, but that you've been really good for her mental health, which is a big compliment to you. And then we just had another one that said, hang on, I'm trying to find them all. Hang on, I just want to make sure that I get all of the comments from you, for you. People
I'll go back and I'll read some of these too, I guess. And they're saying that if I guess I'd have to sign off to do it, but if I came into yours and you invited me as a guest, it would probably go to one live. And I don't know if you want to do that.
That's fine. I can do that. Yep.
I don't want to mess up your thing.
No, that's fine. I can invite you.
I might have to sign off to do it and then go into your live. So.
Okay, so if you're watching on Justin's, come into mine, 716 Girl in ATL.
Okay, and then we'll answer your question. Okay, I'll sign off and then I'll come into
mine, Justin's, and as soon as you come into mine, I'll invite you.
Beautiful. Okay, I'll be right there.
Okay. You guys, if you have more questions or you guys have stories or anything that you want to share with Justin, I love that. Hi, Peachy. Hi, Rosa. Oh, there's Justin. Okay. I just invited you, Justin. Go. No pants, Penny. We're talking to Justin on TikTok, who has just written a book now about having, no contact with family members. So we're seeing Justin is my go-to. Oh my God, now my dogs have to start barking. Hang on.
Well, thank you guys.
A lot of people are saying that you're their go-to for narcissist, which is so awesome, Justin, because this is what we were talking about yesterday when you were saying you went, and I think it's important that we talk about this. You went to, when this happened to you and your daughter especially, you went to see if there was any resources out there, and there really wasn't. Do you want to share a little bit about, and then we can start getting obviously into the book a little bit more, but
Can I answer one of these questions first that somebody
Absolutely.
asked? I really want to. So Coco asked, I'd like to know what made him or what case brought him to the true crime side of TikTok. And this is a case I'm very passionate. In fact, Joe texted me today, Gabby Petito. And the reason that happened was, and you can thank my wife for this actually, is that when the body camera footage for the Moab police came out, she was like, you need to sit down and watch this. And I did. And when I saw the way Brian Laundrie was interacting with the police, the way he was gaslighting her, the way he was treating her, his mannerisms, the way he spoke, the tone and cadence, everything was very much like my mom. So I was like, oh, well, this directly correlates. So then we'll start talking about it. And then I just really, I blew up covering that. So I kind of stayed with true crime. Then we flew, as somebody mentioned, as Crime and Contour, who who I love too, is another great creator. Um, Said we flew some aerial banners around the laundry's
I
house.
feel like you have to tell that story again because I heard that yesterday and I was, or 2 days, when I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, that's such a great story.
Yeah, it was it's a funny story. We could definitely talk about that, but yeah, that's the case that brought me. It's still a very passionate case. I'm very passionate about the domestic violence angle, and I will just say real quick, Joe Petito, he and I became friends. That's Gabby's dad through all of this, and he and the Gabby Petito Foundation have been spending their time trying to get bills passed to help domestic violence victims and have better laws and punishments in place for people who are domestic violence. In fact, he just was presenting something today on it, and he sent it to me. So I'm just saying that, um, he's there's a lot of wonderful things that came out of a very tragic situation from that case, and so that's why it will always have a special place for me. So
Yeah, and I think if you guys missed the beginning, I said that is what actually I first found Justin on, was talking about crime. I talk about crime on my channel as well, but then when I dug deeper, I saw that there's so much more depth. And this is, again, what we're talking about today being one of them, the fact that he is so well skilled on narcissism and, obviously having a mom. And obviously you've helped so many people with that, which is so fantastic. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk to you about. We were talking yesterday or 2 days ago about why you did start this book, because you went and wanted to really help your daughter out, right? Did she say something to you? I'm trying to remember. Did she ask you about?
she did. She did. She said something. I can't remember verbatim what she said, but I lost the sound now. You still there?
Can
Would
you
you mute?
can you hear me?
There you go. Now you're there.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, cool. She had I forget exactly what she said verbatim, but it was something along the lines of like, "I've never met your mom," and it kind of opened up a little bit of a discussion. And I'm like, well, I was like, Victoria, my mom is like, yeah, she's just not the nicest person, and I kind of left it at that and changed the subject. But I was like, this is not going to be the first time she asks about this. And it's, or it's not going to be the last time she asks about this. And so I was like, there needs to be something, I don't know how to explain this without talking shit about, about my mom, which I don't want to do because then it makes me look salty or I'm no better. I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And so I started looking for a resource. I called up there's a couple therapists on this app that I absolutely love. One of them is Strong Therapy, Jess. She's a great creator. And so I talked to her. I talked to my own personal therapist. I talked to Jess's partner, and they were like, yeah, nothing like this exists. It's a well-needed resource. So I was like, huh. So I wrote one. I sent it to them. And I said, what do you think about this? And we went back and forth a couple of things, just kind of fine-tuning it so it was helpful, verbiage was correct, age appropriate, all that stuff. And then I found an illustrator. Once that was all done, once I had it illustrated, I sent it to a publisher.
Love it. I love it. And, I love the fact that, well, first of all, let's talk about the illustrations. Your illustrations are so fantastic.
I
And
did not write, but I did not do the illustrations. I paid somebody, but they really captured. I would draw a stick figure and you would not know it was a person. But yeah, this is the soft cover. There's a hardcover too. But yeah, these are some of the illustrations. The illustrations, I'm very happy. So
yes, they are, they're so good. And we had talked the other day about, the fact that we had even said that it's maybe time for you to make a plush figure or some sort of a doll to go along with it because she's so cute. And that's something that you're thinking about as well.
I am. And somebody asked the age range on it. Technically, it's 4 to 8, but you can ask some of the people who have ordered in here. I think it helps from 4 to 99. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. That's just feedback that I've gotten. But yeah, I am talking about doing that. I even brought that idea, or floated that idea by the guy who's been helping me design merch.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, you should totally do that. Do it as a package deal." I'm like, okay. And so we'll look into doing that.
Yeah, and that's what let's see. Shannon said they could hold the doll while they are reading the book. I love it. Alyssa said, read the book. It's amazing. It helps adults too. Which I think is fantastic. And that's one of the things that we were talking about. You said that if there was ever a TV show or something that was about your show, talk to me a little bit about, you said how it would be like a TV show for kids, but really for adults too.
Oh no, well, so not sort of, kind of, not exactly what I said, but I get where you're going. So first, the one thing that I want to say real quick before we skip on to that is one of my followers, a lot of my followers say stuff that really resonates with me and just kind of sticks with me. And one of my followers, Judy, it's Judy the lawyer. I'm sure she's in here. She'll pop up if she is. Her ex-husband, they have an adult son. and her ex-husband does not understand. And this is a conversation she's had with me many, 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 many times throughout our lives. That her ex-husband does not understand why their son wants nothing to do with his brother. And so she's like, I ordered this book so to kind of show him, to explain it. And he said, she told me that for the first time he actually got it.
I love that.
So that was huge to me. So yeah, so to answer your question, what I was kind of saying, there's a show called Bluey. If you have kids, you probably know Bluey. Bluey is a great show. It's really a parenting show. It's an Australian show that you can watch, in the US. It's about these little dogs. Great show. But if you watch Bluey, Bluey is a kids show, a children's show. But when you watch it as an adult, it really appeals to both for different reasons. And the show Bluey, it's really what you say is it's a parenting show for kids. And that's kind of what this book has turned out to be. See, as Coco said, my son loves Bluey, and I so do I. I love Bluey. My wife loves Bluey. It's a great, great show. And they talk about topics like there was one episode where I think Bluey, they talked about being a preemie. And, for Victoria, who was a preemie and an isolette, it was really great to kind of share that and say, this was your journey. Yeah. So I can't remember if it was Bluey or if it was her sister that was in one of you. I'm sure somebody can correct me on that, but.
Cindy said she's bringing your book to local school libraries. I love that. Sammy said Bluey's made her cry. Justin, I know I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I'm wondering if you feel comfortable maybe reading like a passage or something out of
the whole book on live. So you tell me what you want me to do.
I would love for you to maybe read a passage or two that you feel like is really strong, that would resonate with someone who is, hearing your story for the first time, that would really resonate or really kind of highlights the story.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick before I do, as people are asking or I've seen the comments on it, if you want to order the book, you can do so by going to my website, which is in my profile. It's justinontiktok.com. What I will tell you is I actually found 2 more copies. So I have 11 copies of the soft cover back. And I will sign, anybody who buys it up, through like a live or a video or something through here directly from me, I'll sign it, whether it's hardback or soft. If I sell out of the 11 that I have, and I am back ordered on the hardcovers, they're all in printing. They will be here soon. So if you do want to order a hardcover, because that's more your thing, you can order it. And as soon as it comes in, it'll get there. I don't know if it'll be worth doing an audiobook, Matt. I've thought about the idea of doing a YouTube video, but yeah, I'll find something that I liked and we'll read it.
I'm sorry, real quick before you do that, I did see another question is if these can be shipped internationally or if they're sold internationally as well.
They can be shipped internationally. Where's the person at? Well, they can say it and we can talk.
It was Norwegian. Can they be, but I don't know. And if they're going to be in another, will it be able in Norwegian? You should publish it worldwide. And now I'm not sure if that means, are they going to be printed in other languages, which would be an awesome idea as well.
I've sent 2 copies to Canada. I've so far sent 1 to Australia.
Okay. What about in other languages? Have you thought about doing it there? Like if you get
I talked to the publisher about it. I think it would need to get more traction before we can start doing it in other languages. And frankly, if you're in the UK or Australia and you go into a store to order, which I think you could. It's from Maja. Yeah, Maja lives in that makes sense. I think she's in Norway. Oh, Nina's too. Yeah, Nina's in Norwegian. But they all speak. All the people that I know that follow me that are from like Norway or from that area, they speak better English than we do. So
Okay, good.
But yeah, but there's printers. So it goes through Ingram, which is a huge printer, and so. Fortunately for us in Tennessee, the printer is in the Nashville area. So they print it and I get it like within a day once it's finally printed. If you want to buy it, you just go to my website, which is justinontiktok.com, and you can scroll down and see it. And like I said, you can order it off of our hardcover. Hardcover will say back ordered, but you can still order it. And as soon as they get in here, which will hopefully be next week or the week after, I'll ship it out and I'll sign it.
Did you see the question about the N, the D, and the R letters larger?
No, it's just cute. I didn't have anything. I mean, I gave feedback on the illustration, but not really. It's just the way that I don't even know if it's really bigger when you look at it in person. I think it's just, the way the illustrator did it.
Spaced out.
Casual. I hadn't even noticed that, but yeah, we can ship internationally. And if for whatever reason on the website you don't like the cost of it, I don't make up the cost. It's the thing. Like for the one that went to Australia, I searched. So somebody could get it and found a rate that was like $10 cheaper. So I will do that if somebody wants it in a different country. But all right, let me find something that I want to read. Okay. I'll read what TikTok Advocate said because she thought that part was really good.
Okay.
let me go back here. I guess I'll start here so we can kind of. Daddy, she asked hesitantly, why don't we ever see Grandma and Grandpa? I mean, your mom and dad. Her parents exchanged a knowing glance before her dad responded gently. Victoria, sometimes families need to set boundaries to ensure everyone's well-being, he explained. Your grandparents have certain behaviors that can be challenging for us to handle. Behaviors that aren't good for us or for you. Their actions could potentially harm our family, so we've made the difficult decision to limit contact with them. Her mom added, we believe in treating people with kindness and respect, and we want you to grow up in a positive, loving, and nurturing environment. Unfortunately, your grandparents have a hard time showing love and nurturing in the way that we need, and their love sometimes comes with conditions. What are conditions? Victoria curiously asked. Her dad gently explained. It means that they want you to act a certain way or believe what they do in order for them to be nice to you. Your mom and I want to protect you from that, so we set boundaries, but they didn't want to respect them. And then he goes, what are boundaries? And then we kind of go in and talk about boundaries from there. And I say, it goes into more detail, but it says boundaries are like a special rules that we create to make sure everyone in our family feels happy and treated kindly. And then it goes a little bit more in depth. But yeah.
Are the illustration, is that supposed to be you, the dad? Was it kind of like?
It's our family.
I love that. And so, let me see that. Can we see the whole family together?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how cute, you guys. Stop it right now. How cute is that?
And then hold on, I'll show you this too, because we added a dog. See, we knew that Victoria would get a kick out of it, so we're like, okay, we'll make her the main character. And then here's our dog, Baxter.
Oh my God, I love it.
I think Zoe is in here too. That's our very old Cocker Spaniel. Let's see if she's in here. She might be toward the front. Yeah, she's kind of down here. She's kind of goofy looking, but yeah. That's Zoe right there.
Oh my God, that's so fantastic that you incorporated everyone. What does Victoria think of this? What has she said to you about the book?
She likes that. She's excited that she's in a book.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. What does she say about the actual story, though? She understands it, I'm sure.
She understands it, and I think it makes sense to her. She hasn't really asked questions, and we talked to her a lot about setting. But there's a kid at school who's kind of mean to her, and so we tell her about setting boundaries, and so I mean, and then we use the book for that too, because that's the thing too, is even if you're not no contact with somebody, you can still kind of make it your own with, the way somebody treats you, because the boundary part is important. You and I are from similar generations. I know you're a little older. You're my brother's age, so he's born 75. My brother's born 75. But like I said to you when we talked, was it yesterday or the night before? You couldn't, if you told our parents that we were going to set a boundary, they'd have backhanded us and said, like, I'll boundary you. And that was it.
Yeah. Justin, when did you, so I know that we talked a little bit about this as well. When did you actually sit down and say, you know what, I'm writing this book? Like, when was the moment that you were like, and then, because what you just read was so beautiful, like, when did the words come to you? Like, when did everything come to you, and where you actually put pen to paper, and how long did that take?
It was probably 9-ish months ago, maybe a year, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I wrote it out basically on first draft. I thought it came out pretty good. We did have to edit it. We did have to make it a little bit better, because some of the verbiage I used was geared towards older. Somebody's got some great questions. I'm looking at the questions in here.
I know, I am too. I'm looking at the questions as well. Yeah, there's some great questions.
Yeah, and then and we'll come back to these questions, but and then from there, like I said, I showed it to my therapist. I showed it to the two therapists that I told you all about, or that I said earlier in the live, who are creators on here. Got really good feedback. I sent it to some other people, got really good feedback, and I wanted people to be like brutally honest with me. And I can't remember, some of my followers can probably tell me, I might have mentioned it or even read a transcript of it before I got it illustrated. And then once I kind of got it where I wanted it to be and was able to step away from it, I then started looking for illustrators. And if there's a little book called Uni the Unicorn, and I really wanted that illustrator. Her name is Bridget something, but I reached out to her on Instagram. She responded to go reach out to my agent. So I reached out to her agent, never got a response. So I was like, F this. And I got on Fiverr and found one on, I love Fiverr. Fiverr's like my favorite. I do everything on Fiverr. And I found a phenomenal illustrator. And if and when I do another book, she'll be the one that illustrates that one too. But that's got the illustrations back. Sent the transcript to the publisher before the illustration. She said, let me know when you get the illustrations back. Once I got them back, sent it out, was fully laid out. We went back and forth on a few things. They asked me, I had to write then I had to write a lot of stuff. They made me write. I had to do a dedication, which my dedication, I
Yeah.
wanted to be very, very.
Read that for
Huh?
us. Read
Give
the
me the-
dedication for us.
Okay, the dedication said, "For my beloved daughter Victoria, in a world where love knows no boundaries, I dedicate this book to you. Your presence fills my heart with immeasurable joy, and I want you to always remember that you're loved unconditionally. I promise to be your constant support, guiding you through life's journey. With all my love, Daddy."
Oh, that's
So,
great.
I know.
That is so sweet. Oh, that gave me chills.
Then I had my acknowledgments, author's note, and then they wanted me to do like a little biography. So they did this in the background, and you see this picture, which is also that wherever it is picture. And yeah,
Yep.
and then they made me get some recommendations. So this is the summary on the back, and so this was Jess McNair, who is again Strong Therapy. Jess on here again, great, love her as a creator. And so she wrote that too. And what she wrote as a therapist, licensed counselor, is this book is well written, well explained, and easily consumed by kids and adults. I'm happy to use it as a resource in my practice as a therapist and with my own children, which she did read it to her own children. Teaching children, and her children I think are 12 and 14, something like that. Teaching children why it's important to set boundaries is a crucial part of raising kids. I'm grateful that Justin has written a book that dismantles the idea that we have to keep family members in our lives just because we're related.
I love that. And we do have a ton of good questions. I want to make sure we get to them, but just one real quick list. You have plans to write additional books with this as well, or what are your
If this
plans
book
moving
does
forward?
well, yes. If this book does well, I do. I think it's going to be some of it. Is well for the person asking about Norway. I think for Norway they could print it in the UK and ship it up to you guys too if somebody wanted to do like a bulk order. Um, but yeah, there are certain topics that I'm thinking about. One is a version of this. I have one of my very good friends is adopted, and he recently he started going to like his group counseling thing, and they were talking about trauma, and they were asking about his childhood, and he had mentioned he was adopted. They're like, well, that's a major trauma. And he's like, no, I feel fine. I was like, doesn't matter. It's still a major trauma. And so I was like, this might be a good way because there's a lot of books on adoptions, but none explain directly like why do you because kids probably don't think their parents want them. That's a real thing. So I talked to him about possibly helping me with that, and then there are some that involve standing up for other kids. Um, when you see them getting bullied, and there are a few other topics that I kind of want to chat on too, but
So I think it's important before we get to the questions, if there are, because we've seen lots and lots of questions in here, which is so great. Besides the international, lots of people saying, I think this is important to get into schools. I think this is important to get into libraries. I think it's important to get into therapists and pediatricians. If there is someone watching either now or on our YouTube or something later, and they are a pediatrician or they're a school administrator and they're interested in ordering a large, like a bulk amount of these hundreds of books or something for their schools, how would you suggest they do that?
Yeah, so my publisher is Jan Carroll Publishing. So you would just go to their website and you would reach out and tell them that you want the order, or or you can reach out directly to me and I can kind of help facilitate that and get it in the right place. And all of my information is on my website. It's just on TikTok.com. So, easy website to remember. All the stuff is there, and that is a great question. But that's how they could do it. And you get it. And I don't know because I'm not in charge of like the bulk orders, but I know there's a pretty significant discount. Obviously if you're ordering it in bulk or ordering it for resale. So like if an entire school district wanted one, and I have had people buy them. Yesterday, somebody bought one on my live to donate to the Crossville, Tennessee library. I had somebody buy one for me to figure out who to donate, so I donated to a therapist. To my therapist actually, because I know she deals with that kind of trauma.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, the thing about it is this resource, this is the only one of its kind. Like there's nothing else like it. So, and it's very easily consumed. And like I said, adults, have seemed to get a lot out of it as well.
Exactly. And the same about with you, getting in touch with you. You're saying that you will sign books, that people talk to me about like signing books.
I sign them on live all the time. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody on here, for example, wants to order a book through my goes through my website. If you want to order a soft cover book, I was checking to see if I had any orders. I didn't, new ones. I have 11 of the soft covers left, and they would go out tomorrow. And I would sign those on the live. I'll even inscribe them. Sometimes I write long notes. It just kind of depends. And if you want a hardcover, which I mean, my personal preference is the hardcover because I just think it's nicer to feel and look. I mean, it's a hardcover, but it's more expensive, so it might not be everyone's thing. But those are back ordered, but I should get them in the next week too, so you can still order it, and it'll ship out the minute I get them in.
Okay, so Justin has 11 books, you guys, right now. Go order one
11
and you
left.
can get he can sign it right now on this live, which is so freaking cool, I think. Especially if I heard you guys saying you're going to order them for schools or your therapists. Go order them and he can sign it for the school or the therapist, which is even more cool, I think, which is so cool. So, yes, he has 11 left right now. Justin, you're making history. I'm so surprised to support you. So there's been a bunch of questions. I want to make sure that I go back to them. People are saying this is starting you're starting the conversations. Golden said I've struggled with taking family out of my life because of these things. Childhood teachings, which is, obviously super important. I just want to go back and what if
chat about that? That's an important that's an important statement. So let me go back to I found it. Golden. I've struggled with taking family out of my life because of these types of things, childhood teachings. So Golden, yeah, you're 100% right. And there was a whole thing of blood is thicker than water. They're family, but you only have one mom, but you only have one dad. You only have so many siblings. What are we? They only have one or two kids or whatever, how many kids they have. They only have this. Why does it all rely on you? At the end of the day, even if you are 40 something years old, they are still the parent. They should be the ones, if there's an issue, to try to help remedy that. That's part of being a parent. So if your child has if my daughter, I know she's 4 now, has an issue with me, even at 24 or 34, 44, if I'm still alive, then I'll be like, let's work this out. Let's talk about this. I'm not going to discount or gaslight her feelings. That's just kind of how it is. But one of the things that's kind of hard there's a couple of things that are kind of hard to unlearn, which is, that's one of them, is that you have to keep people there just because you're family. And the other thing is that respect is due just because you're older. Age does not necessarily equate to respect. And we were talking about that in the live earlier when we were talking about Savannah Soda. But just because somebody's older doesn't mean they have to be respected. My father and I, we've been in this massive argument, and he's like, you guys are disrespectful. I'm like, you literally came to my house. You dropped within 10 minutes of being here, you dropped the N-word and said that girls deserve it based on what they're wearing. And you're telling me I'm being disrespectful in front of my daughter, nonetheless. And that's a word that I don't use. I don't like the word. I vehemently oppose it, and I stand against it. And the other thing, too, if anybody's followed me for a while, my following is 85% women, and I'm a strong advocate and support of women. So I don't allow those, and it's been a problem ever since, basically. And I digress. So that's to answer your question, is that you don't have to, and it's teaching yourself.
Another question. Trisha asked a good question. I think it's really good. And she's asking it about your daughter, but I think it pertains to anyone. What if when she said she gets older, but I would say to any of these children, what if when they get older, they want to contact, them? So a grandparent or an uncle or whatnot. What would you say about that?
Real quick, Andrea said that she ordered one first. Thank you. I see it come through. Let me know what you want me to say, or if you want me to inscribe it to anybody, and I will do that. So here's the thing. I'm not going to tell my daughter that she can't talk to anybody. If she wants to learn this journey on her own, then she's welcome to. But here's the thing. My daughter is 4 years old, okay? My dad was born in 1945. He will be 79 this year. My mom was born in 1952, so she will be 72 this year. This is a problem that time will probably solve on its own.
I see what you're saying. Yep. So there probably won't even be.
It won't
Yep.
be. Yeah.
There won't even be. Shannon actually wants to know if you've sent any of these to schools, or if you know of any schools that are reading these books right now.
I've not sent it to schools, and I don't know who has ordered them. I know that my publisher sent out a massive press release. And so that could have been ordered, but she doesn't even know who orders it. The orders get sent to Ingram and shipped out, and that's basically it. But I know that I've been working with the public libraries trying to get readings set up, at least in my area. And now that I find myself with a bit more time, I'm going to try to reach out to some more of those and try to get them into more bookstores. I've reached out to a lot of bookstores because, obviously, here's the thing. At the beginning of this, it costs money to publish a book. It costs money for the illustrations, the initial supply. I had to reorder supply. So I'm just trying to get myself back in the black on that. And then I can look at doing more donations and stuff like that with it, and more things along those lines. But the schools, I almost find a little hard because the subject matter can be kind of controversial if you're from one of those families that, there are still a lot of families out there that aren't looking to break generational cycles and they still are allow abuse to their kids because they don't see it that way.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. You guys, and just as a reminder, Justin, what you have 10 of these? You have 10 books.
Oh yeah, Andrea bought one.
Andrea?
And like I don't know what she wants me to. You can sign it to whatever inspiring words. You got it. I can do that. I can totally do that.
And so he will sign it live for you guys on this live if you buy one now. He's got 10 paperbacks left. So get one signed. That's what he's doing right now for Andrea, which is so super cool.
I'll try to answer questions while doing it.
Love that. So he's got only 10 left, you guys. So don't miss out on this. Get it signed while he's doing this live, which is so freaking cool. And while you're signing that, another question, Justin, from TikTok 10. Can narcissist go no contact as a form of punishment as well? Boomers tend to shun people.
Yeah, so 100%. 100%. Oh, Dee's got a great question. Yeah, my mom she used to like cut me off, which, she wouldn't talk to people for years if she was mad at you. I mean, my grandmother's will be 91 in February, right? Yeah, 91 in February. She hasn't talked to my grandmother in like 12, 13 years, if not more. And that's her mom. So yeah, that's what they do. And I don't even know what the hell that's about, to be honest with you. I think it was because my grandmother lived with my mom at one point. My mom treated her like shit. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. She stole all of her stuff. That's a different story. I did a video on that too. Stole all of her stuff. And so I think that's why my mom is mad at my grandma, because my mom stole my grandmother's stuff. So, anyways, the answer is yes. And here's the thing about it too, and they made the comment about boomers. It is unfortunate that a lot of the people we're talking about that fall into this toxic narcissistic category tend to be of the baby boomer generation. It's definitely not all of them, but it seems to be a larger amount than other generations, at least that we've seen so far. And maybe that's just because as Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z, we're getting older. I don't know. But to further on that same question, my mom is one of 5 kids. Only one of her brothers talks to her. That's it. None of her cousins talk to her anymore. In fact, one of my cousins, when all this went down and I started calling, and this is something I recommend you doing if you're in this situation and you go no contact and you've heard your narcissist or toxic person talk shit about these people your entire life, call them up and get their side of the story. And I called one of our cousins up. And the first thing she says, I don't know why you're calling me. Our side of the family wants nothing to do with your family. I'm like, hold up, Marie. Let's take it back like 10 notches. I said, let me tell you why I'm calling. And she told me everything that my mom did to them. Wow. And so you learn a lot, and it really kind of starts to put things into perspective.
I've just gone back to get a couple more older questions, then we'll get down to the newer ones like Dee's. Crystal said, I would love to hear how to help my partner who has suffered narcissistic abuse his whole life.
In what ways? Give me some more information on that, like, and how to help them. And I mean, the best thing you can do is, without knowing the situation, if you want to elaborate, please do, and I can probably get more specific. I'm not a licensed therapist, but what I'll say is, getting therapy helps, because getting through this, it is traumatic when you are going through this. It is difficult. People don't just arbitrarily say one day, you know what, I'm done with this person, I'm going to talk to them. It takes typically years and years of tolerating abuse and trying to make things work out before you finally make that decision. And so, support him with that. But if he's not ready, you also don't want to push them, because then that becomes a different argument as well. You just have to hope that they see their life. But at the same time, if the narcissist is like a family member, like a mother-in-law, or, his mom or whatever, for example, you can set boundaries like, hey, I will support. And that's what my wife does. My wife says, if you ever want to open up a conversation with your mom again, yes, Gray Rock is it, exactly. If you want to open up a conversation with your mom again, she's like, I will support you to do that. She's like, but Victoria and I will not be involved. And that's her boundary to set.
Right.
And so that's what you have to do.
Right. So you saw Dee's. What if my boyfriend is not ready to go no contact, but I am? How would you balance that? That is a great question.
Basically the exact same thing that I said. That applies to that as well. You can't force them, but you can set your own boundaries.
And that can be difficult to do, though, right? Do you see that putting a rift between them? that
Yeah.
could put a rift. So what would you say? I mean, how do you make sure that doesn't happen?
I think that goes to communication. So let me finish. Let me sign Andrew's thing. I'll do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then I'll. Okay,
Yeah.
Andrea, this one is yours. Signed. It'll go out tomorrow.
Yay, thank you, Andrea.
I haven't gotten the other, so there's still 10 left. But if anybody wants to order, anyways, this is something that I should have done many, many years before. I think that having an open conversation about is important. I tried to, for many years, keep the peace between my mom and Alyssa much longer than I should have. And to be frank, she shouldn't have stood for it. I'm pointing because she's out there. She shouldn't have stood for it. And I'm glad that she did. I'm glad that we came through and everything. But I mean, on day one, I should have put my foot down. So as my partner, you want a partner. You don't want somebody to shame you. Again, this is your boundary. If you have a struggle with that person's parents or whoever it is, and you don't want to deal with them, that is a reasonable boundary, and you can explain the reasons why. And if they don't like it, that is their problem. If they're like, well, I don't know what to tell my mom about this, that is not your problem. That is their problem. And if they can't respect it, then that becomes a very different discussion that you need to have with your partner. That I can't tell you.
Do you see pause and laws? Do you have to tell the person you're going no contact?
No.
You didn't, right? You just
Technically, my mom cut me off. I just didn't do the thing where I groveled back.
right. Yeah, like with my brother, it just stopped. You know what I mean? Like it just one day I saw him and then we never talked again. I didn't even know what happened, quite frankly, until my mom actually filled me in on what the problem was, which I was completely like, I had no idea there was even a problem, but apparently I said something that night when we were together that he didn't like. So he was the one who decided to cut me off. So it was interesting.
And to be frank with you, honestly, if you're in this situation and you're dealing with somebody who's a true narcissist, very toxic narcissist, and you're dealing with, because if you're dealing with somebody like that, they're not going to ever respect anything you say. Basically, they're going to gaslight any issues that you've had. You're better off to not say anything to them.
That's smart.
Because if not, they're going to use it against you. They're going to tell everybody to use it to run you down. God forbid you put it in writing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine. That'll come against you. Chase wanted you to explain the gray rock method, please. Someone asked about that.
Yeah. So gray rock basically means, somebody said it earlier, you act unresponsive. You act like a rock. So a lot of times, like people who are like this, they'll try to bring you into drama. They'll try to get you to overreact to situations. And so, for example, if somebody, like, what would my mom do? My mom would start talking shit about, my mom would talk shit about my brother to me and vice versa. And instead of like getting into it and like, so, before I realized that this was the whole thing, when my mom would talk shit about my brother, I would get angry at my brother, and I would basically fuel her. I was the narc supply. I would fuel her on it. Whereas my brother will gray rock me. So the times when I talk to my brother and I'll try to bring her up, he'll just like, okay, yeah. That's what it is. He won't bite. He won't get into it with you. So I've learned, that he doesn't want to talk about that, and so I will respect his boundary on that. And I know I'm not going to get an answer or get him to feel the same way I do, regardless. So, that's basically what it is.
Dee said she always wants to defend herself to his mom, her boyfriend's mom. She gets her feelings hurt easily. Do you have any advice for her about that?
No, it's not. No, and I know this is easier said than done. Know that it's not you. It's any girl he would bring home, because I would imagine that he is probably her narc supply and he does not know it. So there's something that's called emotional incest. Okay. And it seems to happen mostly with boy moms. And when I say boy moms, before people come after me, like, I have boys, there's a difference between you're a mom who has boys and a hashtag boy mom. There's a big difference between the two. And a hashtag boy mom will typically do what's called emotional incest, meaning that they take, especially if their son gets older, they will take the things that they're not getting from, assuming they're still married, and even if they're divorced, same kind of thing, take what they should be getting emotionally and intellectually from a partner and putting it on the son, making the son basically that partner, and not sexually intimate, but intimate. And that's where it becomes the problem. And it sounds like that could be what they're doing. And so defending yourself doesn't help you. So, the conversation that I would have with my partner, if I were you, and it might be something you need to talk to a therapist about too on your own, is that, look, this is a boundary that I'm setting. This is how I feel with your mom. Because of that, I don't like the way it makes me feel. I'm making the decision to no longer put myself in these situations, but I support you in any relationship you want to have with her. And if he's like, well, what do I got to do to explain this to my mom? Not your problem.
Right.
I know that's easier said than done. I realize, I recognize that, but that's what you have to do. As I'm guessing you're probably, again, a millennial or a late Gen X, or even possibly Gen Z. And we have just learned to be very passive and take it. And it's hard to get out of that.
Yep. So I have a sort of a selfish question for myself. So, me and my sister talk about this all the time because we don't talk to my brother. Neither of us does. My mom doesn't talk to my brother. My mom's getting up there in age. What happens if he decides to show up when, God forbid, my mom does pass, which he's going to? We're afraid he's going to show up and actually cause drama, do something like that. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. How do you act in a situation like that? Let's say he doesn't cause drama. That's a whole other thing. But am I supposed to talk to him if he just randomly shows up at my mom's funeral? He doesn't even because we're afraid he's going to show up and act like he was the best son in the world because not everybody knows, not everybody knows that he doesn't talk to us.
Who would be if that happened, who would be the biggest guy that would show up to that funeral?
Probably my sister's husband, Ralph. He's huge.
You have a discussion prior to him, and if he acts up, you have him removed. That's how you deal with that situation.
Because my mom's she's talked to us about it. She's the one thing I don't want is for my funeral or the wake to turn into this ugly situation.
Or don't tell him.
Yeah. Oh, don't even tell him about the wake. That's what I said.
Don't tell him that she died.
That's what I said. Do we even have to tell him?
No.
You don't.
No.
You don't tell him. That's what I said. And then what if something happens and my mom gets sick? Could you see this happening? This isn't just for me. If your mom or someone gets sick and this family member comes out of the blue, or even if it is your mom, comes out of the blue, they're sick and they're now trying to make amends with everybody. Do you see that happening?
That happens apparently a lot. And there's actually, I forget who it was, but there's another creator out here who's a nurse, works with in hospice or something like that. I can't remember. And she talked about all these deathbed things and how they'll call and want the people to come. And oftentimes their kids or these family members don't show up. And if they're narcissists, and this whole thing went on is, I said, I'm not going to shame you. I support you in doing that because, it has been almost 5 years. My mom had an opportunity to reach out and make amends, and she has not. It has been over 12 years. I'm saying 12 years. It might be closer to 15 with my grandmother. She's not done. My grandmother's 91. How much time does she have left? So don't spend your entire life, and because you all of a sudden feel bad because you're about to leave this world, you want to make amends? No, you don't get to have that. If you can go if you want to. That's your own personal decision. You can go if you want to. But if you don't want to, you don't have to give them that.
And that's what Bonkers just asked. What about when my mom dies? What do we do if we are estranged? I mean, I think you just answered that. Go if you want to go. Don't go if you don't want. I mean, I think you do what you feel in your heart. And I think that's what we say about my brother. Will he show up? If he does, is he going to cause drama? Or is he not going to show up at all? Those are what we struggle with. My mom's 75, so we don't know. And, my dad's gone. So so I guess that's the answer. Go if you, right? I mean, Justin, isn't that what you'd say? Go if you
go if you want,
I guess.
Okay, so remember that the person there is I like Tara's question. If it's going to harm you to not go, don't go. If you go and it's going to harm you to go, then don't go. I know you might not know until you're in the moment, but you're going to have to feel it and you have to do what's best with you. The person that you're going to the funeral, they are no longer there. It may be very difficult and very triggering for you. If you've not talked to somebody in a decade and they pass away and you show up at the funeral, it might be very hard for you because what you do in these situations is a lot of us, when you go no contact, it's very upsetting, and you end up mourning you're upset about it, you cry about it, you go through all the emotions of grief. It's like a death. But you're not mourning that person. You're mourning the person that you should have had.
You're absolutely
That's
right.
what you're doing. And once that death, the child, the adult, logical adult, knows that you're never going to have that person. They're never going to be. But once they're dead and they're gone, there's literally zero opportunity for reconciliation. It's done. It's over. And I think for a lot of people that can be very difficult. I know it'd be difficult for me. If you
I
ask me right
absolutely
now if
agree.
my mom died, what would you do? I don't even know what the answer is. So for me, oh, it went quiet again. There you go. You're back.
And sorry, my phone's been ringing. So yeah, I mean, people are saying stop being any advice to stop being a people pleaser.
Yeah, you have to go back and be born a baby boomer. That's basically it. No, I don't know. You had to get with a therapist. It's very hard. I apologize for everything. It's just the way that we were conditioned. I think that, boundaries is a good way to start. Just have a boundary and stick to it. And you just have to force yourself. Tara's 82. I am also 82, Tara. So yes, I get it.
A lot of people are saying the same thing about the funerals. And actually someone commented, and I'm trying to go back to see what they say, but they said that they did go, oh, Laura, she went to a funeral and now she regrets it. So exactly what you said, I think about the triggering, you hit the nail on the head with that. You don't know what's going to happen. You could go there and it could, Judy said, ask myself, am I doing this for me or for her? And then someone else commented and said, you can
Good advice.
mourn that person or respect that person in other ways. It doesn't have to be public in that public, wake or funeral, which I thought was also really good advice as well. So
That's great advice. And I think Judy's advice was great. Judy always comes up with some great advice. She really does. She really does.
yeah, that's great. So Justin, I like to keep these to an hour anyways, and it's been over an hour, and we've had such great conversation. I love these followers. I love your followers are
My followers are
fantastic.
phenomenal.
And my followers are fantastic as well. We have a lot of the same followers, which is why they're so awesome. And I think that I want to just stress again that if anybody wants to buy your book, maybe if you say if they buy it, after this, right after this as well.
Yeah, I'll still sign it.
Okay. And you've got 10 of them left. And if not, go on your website, justinontiktok.com, and that's where they can find all information on
Correct.
large orders, international orders.
Well, on my website, you're not going to find anything about large orders or international. International, because you can order it and put your country in and see what it's going to say for shipping. And if it's too high, you can shoot me an email directly, and I'll see if I can shop it around, because I want people to get it. And I don't want people to, times are tough, right? So if I can look and get it out there cheaper, then I'll do it. I think I can't remember if it was like 10 or 12. I can't remember if it was like 10 or 12 bucks or $14 to Canada. I ended up finding 20 to Australia. Is what I did for that one. So you can message me and I'll try. I have no idea what Norway would be, but
Thank you. And your YouTube, Justin, what is your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so same name. I'm Justin on TikTok across all channels. You can get to all of my channels too, all my social media from same website. I kind of put everything there as like a central hub. But yeah, I will do a Narc Talk there. We'll get that scheduled. Probably start talking about it on TikTok, and then we'll do it there so it stays recorded and we can tell these stories. People can submit questions ahead of time. We can even bring some people on who want to talk about their situations or their stories, and we can just kind of do a thing with it.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here this, Golden. And yes, so this will also be on my YouTube, which is the exact same 716 Girl in ATL. And if you're not following Justin, you guys are missing out. Go follow his TikTok.
Thank you. And vice versa for my followers.
Yeah, I'd love to have you guys follow me as well, 716 Girl in ATL. Justin, thank you so much. It's been fantastic. And you obviously gave such great advice. You helped me tremendously. I'm going to go tell my mom. And so did some of your followers say, they were saying, go tell your mom to write down her wishes and what she wants. And I'm like, those are great ideas. Great. You guys are so awesome. And you guys, great comments, great questions, all the things. Justin, great as usual. So thank you guys. You guys are all awesome. I have to say it one more time. Go Bills. Sunday's a big game. So you're going to hear me say that until Sunday. So sorry. So go Bills.
And go buy this book because even if you don't have kids, but you're in the situation, which if you watch this whole live, you will. You can ask the people in here; it will help you.
Yes, I'm going to go buy mine right after this. So, go Bills, right, Andrea? Go buy Boundaries. You can get it on Justin's website. That's just justinontiktok.com. And thank you guys all for following. And we'll see you guys soon. Bills Mafia. There's Take care. Bye, guys.
You too. Bye.